Yeah.
Let's talk with Michelle in Alabama. Michelle actually has some feedback for us about Happiest season. So I'm excited to talk with her about that. Hi, Michelle.
Hi.
Hi, welcome to the show. Hi. What are your thoughts? Give them to us.
It's Alaska, by the way.
Oh.
You're in Alaska?
Alaska. There we go. Alabama. We've got AL as our indicator, so I think I may mix that up. Alaska.
Okay.
Oh. Okay. Well, what can we help you with today? Tell us about your take on Happiest season.
Yeah, can I just touch back on one thing, V, that you said when you were talking about the father-son dynamic there in Love Actually?
Yeah, absolutely.
From a writer's perspective, what I loved about it is, you know, the gentleman's wife had passed away, and as a writing decision, having that as his background put so much weight behind the seriousness with which he treated his son's relationship issues. It was just genius. It made that so much more poignant. So I'm glad you brought that up about that movie. That's one of my favorite arcs of the movie.
Me too. I could watch the whole movie just about them.
Yeah. Okay, so what I would just like to say, first of all, I think it's okay if people liked Happiest season. I know lots of people who did. I'm not trying to, I don't want to rain on their parade. I mean, 2020 is crappy enough as it is. We should find joy where we can. So this isn't a criticism if somebody likes it, but, oh, and I would say I would absolutely watch a 2-hour movie entirely of Abby and Riley in that bar bonding over a shared ex.
Oh, it's so great. It was so great.
It was. I would absolutely watch 2 hours of that. So I guess some of what I'd maybe proffer kind of overlaps a little bit with things that you've said, but my hot take is the movie couldn't decide if it was a comedy or a drama, right? It had like no joy in it.
Dramedy.
It felt like a movie, even though it was written by somebody I know who isn't cis. I don't know if just the movie company got involved and there was just too many edits like you were discussing, but it felt like a cis movie written for cis people about gay people to make them feel good that they were acknowledging gay people exist. And the arc of outing somebody was so dangerous because what it says, since this was a major marketed movie that would have been in the big screen, except for COVID, it tells all of these heterosexual people out there that if you have friends or family that you love who are gay and they're not coming out yet, you're really doing them a favor by pushing them out of the closet door. And that is so dangerous, especially, right, because this movie is written by somebody who isn't straight. You know, K-Stu isn't straight. It has the gay stamp of approval. And so the message they take away is, hey, you know, your friend's nervous, you know, just help them out, leak it to their family. And to me, that's really dangerous. I've had friends who are triggered by that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like this should come with a trigger warning, honestly, because that is horrible to have to go through.
You know, being unwillingly outed to me does not a good Christmas movie make. My coming out was not terribly traumatic. I mean, my family's really disappointed. They always will be. There's nothing they can really do about that with me. But to me, it erases the stories of those people who are at real risk if they come out. It cheapens it to me. And I think that's what I found the most heartbreaking thing about the movie. I mean, those people who risk physical abuse, complete rejection from their family, losing their livelihood, being kicked out of the house, sent to conversion camps. I mean, this is a movie about a family. Nobody in that movie makes less than $150,000 a year, right?
Right.
I mean, except for Abby, who's a student who, I don't know if she's living on a trust fund or what, but she's going to Carnegie Mellon for art.
Yeah.
Everybody there is rich, right? And it's also written in an environment where the only people of color in that movie were throwaway roles.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That the kids actually framed Abby for theft and weren't open and honest about it when she was in trouble.
Yeah.
The husband was sneaking around in the closet
with the other person of color in the show. Yeah, it was not good.
Yeah. So,
but
I feel like they should have picked the lane and stayed in it.
I agree. I agree with you. And there's also something that I think I saw in the notes about eating our own and like coming at it from this hypercritical place. And I do want to kind of address that too, right? Because there are a lot of people who are like, well, this was not a good movie. How dare? And yes, it's important that we get this right because it hasn't been right for so long. It needs to be right now. Like, we're out of time. This is required. But also, there are so many bad movies by straight white people that are like, oh, well, it was a throwaway. Like, we're not going to, like, you know, get super upset about it. Like, straight white directors, writers, actors are allowed to fail multiple times and not have it be this big outrage type thing. Whereas this had to be the perfect movie or else, you know, travesty. So there is that other kind of bar that's measured differently for people, not just, you know, gay people, but, you know, people of any minority group. If it's not the perfect movie, suddenly it does become this big deal when it's not in other situations. Does that make sense?
It is. It is kind of like a double standard. That's why I said if people like it, like, I'm glad they like it. I'm glad people do like it.
Yeah, it had cute humor, but honestly, you perfectly articulated why I was so angry about how Sloane outed her sister and then it went back to normal. I'm really tired of just decency not being normalized when it comes to gay people, when people lose their lives over this type of thing. Like, that, there shouldn't be an excuse for that. Like, oh, well, they tried and it's a step in the right direction. But honestly, no, you're absolutely right. That's harmful. That's dangerous. That should never be okay. That's what I have to say about that.
It does feel like a fatal flaw to me. You know, V kind of framed this as something that might have felt progressive in the 90s and has that sort of like, you know, colorblind attitude towards it. And, you know, queer people are just like us. And, you know, that's a message that I think is missing the mark because, quote, queer people are not just like cis folks in the very real dangers that they face. And I do think I'm kind of coming around to the idea that this is 95% of a decent, mediocre movie. But yeah, I do feel like that is a fatal flaw that that feels a little unforgivable to me. I don't know.
Can I say two really additional short things?
Absolutely. Go for it.
The first is I actually really feel kind of badly for K-Stu, right? Because for her first big, you know, queer movie, I really had hoped it would have been something that was better done and would receive more widespread and less fractured support from the gay community. So, I mean, I think my heart breaks for her.
She played Joan Jett. Like, would we label this her first queer movie?
Wait. She also played like an Irish maid who like has a weird like secret relationship with a girl, and I want to see that so bad. I don't remember the name of it. Pardon?
What is that?
She plays, so Kristen Stewart also plays, I don't know why, I heard about it very briefly and then I never saw it, so I don't know if it didn't do well or something, but she does play a lesbian in some role where it's kind of, I don't know, it's not modern, it's, I wish I was better about dating this kind of thing, but she's like an Irish maid or something, and I wanted to see it. I really like K-Stu, so I don't know. Are you Googling it, Michelle?
We'll have to see if we can track that one down.
I know, I want to see it, but
Clouds of Sils Maria.
It's
well, in Clouds of Sils Maria, she plays a lesbian in that as well. So yeah, that one piece I would push back against because she has had these sort of other opportunities. But yeah, that's part of what's made her a queer icon, and part of where some of that responsibility, I guess, comes into it.
Yeah, completely agree.
Oh, I have not seen that. That's back in the time where I was not watching movies or television because of my work. Oh.
Well, both Runaway. I mean, I didn't think I was going to be up here like gassing up K-Stew, but the Runaways and Clouds of Sils Maria are both just really, really beautiful films that I could sit here and stand all night.
I believe Lizzie is the 2018 movie where she's an Irish maid, by the way.
Well, I'll add it to the list.
I would just throw out, if nobody's seen them, Season of Love, Christmas in New York, and City of Trees are actually pretty decent Christmas movies if you want to. Two of them are kind of cheesy. One of them is kind of serious and more about self-confidence, but they're pretty good.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Michelle.
Thank you. Have to add those to the list for sure.
Hope we'll build an audience. Appreciate your take tonight, Michelle.
Thanks so much for calling in.